the Jets and the Patriots, an NFC East showdown, Gillette Stadium, Foxborough, Massachusetts, 62 and cloudy for this low 41.5 over under. The spread is going, or the spread's negative. Whoo! The Jets was 7.5. That's Drake May, boy. The force be with you on this one. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I'm sorry. I'm getting out of control on this one. Okay, the New York Jets, the New England Patriots. Aaron Rodgers, Drake May, Breece Hall, I'm getting really tongue tied now thinking about Star Wars and stuff like that. Star Wars is my jam. Super sorry about that, guys. I'll stop for a second. I'll mute myself. Brandon, Billy, take it over on this game. Who are you firing up? Are you scared of anybody? Go.
I'm absolutely firing up the running backs for the Jets because the Patriots allow the second most points to the running backs. And not only is it a low over-under at 41, like you said, Chris, but the Jets are favored by 7 or 7.5, depending where you're looking. And that means that they're going to be pounding the ball. It fits perfectly what their strength, the Jets' strength so far this season has not been passing at all. It's been running. And they've got 2 good running backs to do it. And the weakness of the Patriots defense is their rush defense. So to me, that's what this game is going to be dominated by. It's going to be Breece Hall, who is maybe RB1 now because he's getting the touches. He's getting explosive. The scheme looks like it's changed up a little bit with the play caller change. So for me, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, you could probably start both of them because the Jets actually end up with the lead that Vegas is looking at and expecting. They're probably going to be able to give a good amount of touches to Braylon Allen. And that also scares me for Drake May. Drake May for me is a sit this week in Superflex leagues because obviously, QB top 12 quarterback, you're only starting one. You're probably not playing him. But if you've got 24 quarterbacks that need starting, I would still try to sit May if you can, just because of the very, very tough matchup. And the Jets have a good defense, so they might capitalize on some risky throws that he might be forced to make towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you on Drake May. Back-to-back top 10 weeks for him, but tough matchup against these New York Jets. So I'm questioning, maybe he starts to use his legs a little bit, utilize his running ability to make some plays. However, like you said, rookie quarterback, not a lot of help. Tough matchup. Breece, back-to-back RB1 weeks. New England giving up the second most fantasy points to running backs and the most yards allowed to the running back position, rushing, obviously. But Breece getting that workload back from Braylon Allen. We've seen that workload kind of fade back about as quick as it came for Braylon Allen, which is very, very, very exciting for Breece owners. I wonder if there wasn't maybe a slight injury or something they were trying to work out. But Braylon Allen played well. To Brandon's point, if they do get up early in this game, there should be enough work for both guys. But Braylon's kind of a second flex type of guy. For me, Breece, you're firing, you're set and forget. Against the Patriots this week. I love the matchup. Obviously, Ramondre's been hit or miss on the other side of the ball. The Jets allow some reception, 2 yards to running backs, the 7th most, something we've seen Ramondre take advantage of earlier in his career. I like the matchup a little bit for him if he's healthy. He did miss practice today, but it seemed like might have been more of a personal issue, Chris.
I'm not too sure about any of that stuff like that on Narrative Street these weeks. Let's talk about the wide receivers, right? Did you talk about Tay Adams? I love Aaron Rodgers going and getting Green Bay 2.0 out there. Like I said last week, A.J. Dillon might be joining the force next year. Who knows? Guys, for the wide receivers, Allen Lazard, too, he's been scoring touchdowns like crazy out there. It's absolutely wild. Jalen Polk, a fan favorite, Hunter Henry, pass-catching tight end who is super lighting it up right now. That probably didn't make no sense. He's lighting it up on a super speed track like Sonic. Ooh, foreshadowing for later. Remember, Sonic and Knuckles. I'll tell you about that later. But guys, these pass catchers, who do you like and who are you sitting?
So for me, I like Garrett Wilson as a set and forget wide receiver 1 and 2, 15 points per game. 15.8 points per game, 8+ targets in 6 of his 7 outings, and now all he did is become the number 2 to Devontae Adams, and I think that sets him up for very, very favorable coverage a lot of the time, because even though Garrett Wilson being the younger, maybe even faster guy, Tay Adams being the bigger threat with that communication with Aaron Rodgers, it will not take them very long to get on the same page. So I just don't imagine the typical trade where, the guys show up and it takes them several weeks to start contributing. I just don't see that happening. But I love Garrett Wilson in this matchup as well against the Patriots. And on the other side, I don't want any of the Patriots receivers, but I will talk about my guy, Hunter Henry. We talked about the tight end position last week for the Patriots. Chris, you talked about Hooper. I talked about Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's been top 7 back-to-back weeks with the young kid Drake May under center, 8 receptions for 97 yards, and Hooper been a tight end 2 both weeks with Drake May at the helm as well. So if you're really, really digging for a guy, Austin Hooper is a guy that's likely available for you, but Hunter Henry is a guy that I think you can plug in for the foreseeable future with Drake May looking underneath that safety valve tight end that we always talk about for young developing quarterbacks, and Hunter Henry is a very talented guy, and he's been there for Drake May back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah, I like Hunter Henry too, and I do kind of want to fade the wide receivers. Quick little dynasty tip though, I just made a trade for Jalen Polk with a 3rd-round pick. Polk around at the Jalen Polk owners because that was not planned. That's why it sounded so messy. And see if they're still liking him, because if they're very hesitant, if they don't like some of the drops and everything that's been going on. I know Brad, who's watching, he popped up in the chat earlier. I know he wasn't very happy with Jalen Polk last week. You might be able to get him for really cheap. It's not even halfway through a rookie season, and he's somebody that they spent a top 45 pick on, so he's worth poking around. See if you can throw a third at him like I did and pulled it off. And then on the other side of the ball, Christian Gonzalez probably more likely to be on Devontae Adams, so I do think Garrett Wilson will have a decent week. I think after this, though, if Garrett Wilson puts up 2 pretty good weeks as the number 2 in a row, might be looking at him as a sell.
Brandon, you missed it. You don't know what's going on. Whenever you say someone's name 3 times, it's like you're heating up from NBA Jam, but like Beetlejuice right now because it's October. Billy said it. He unlocked the first next-gen stat of the night. Drake made a Hunter Henry last week, ranked 8th per next-gen stat on their 32-yard pass and catch with a 27.2% improbable catch rating. 4th quarter, shotgun, boom, get him, got him, good.